What is going on, YouTube fam? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm back with another memory plan with me. Today I am planning for the week of January 18th through January 24th, I believe. And you guys might have missed that there was, a kind of non-important event happening this week. Just the inauguration, no big deal. So, as you guys know, Inauguration Day was this week, so I'm using this Making History kit from Scribble Co. that has just been everywhere. I'm sure you guys have seen it. I fell in love with the kit immediately because it just has so many amazing elements to an amazing day, really what turned out to be a really great day, I think. So I'm going to try to keep this void of political debates and political parties. I'm really just going to be discussing the day itself and the things that I really loved about the day, and basically sharing my feelings about it with you guys. I feel like this is the first time that I'm really talking to anyone about how I felt that day, which I think is also kind of therapeutic for me. So hopefully you guys don't mind, but that's what I'm going to be chatting about in this video. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, first things first, I wanted to just let you guys know that I could not find my silver foil date dots for this spread for the life of me, so you guys won't see it in the video. I'm still looking for them, actually. So whenever I find them, I will go ahead and add them to this spread, but just so you guys know, that's why there's no date dots here. And I did try to include more of me putting down the glitter headers and the full boxes for this one, just so you guys can see it's still an adjustment. So have some patience with your newbie-ish, at least newbie to recollections planner girl. So let's take it back to the election really quick, and then we'll just kind of talk about Inauguration Day. But one of the most, I think, moving, most joyful moments for me in 2020, and there weren't many, as we well know, there were definitely not many of them. But one of the most moving moments for me was the day that Joe Biden was called as having won the election, so as president-elect of the United States. And that happened, I think it was that weekend, that Saturday of that election day week. And I remember hearing the news and, of course, being thrilled. But the moments after were really the moments that were precious for me. So they showed a ton of clips of people, not even just in the US, globally, internationally. There were so many clips of people just celebrating, people going out in the streets, dancing, cheering, talking, just existing collectively. And I think embracing hope for the first time in a very long time, especially given last year with how the pandemic has and still is turning our lives so upside down. That was the first time I saw such a collective kind of joy. Now, I'm not naive to think that everyone is happy about this result. I realize that not everyone is, and that's fine. But it was nice to see so many people so happy in that one moment, like that one moment of hope that it seemed like we didn't have in so long. So I think that was so needed, and it was so beautiful to watch. And the other moment that was so moving to watch was Van Jones on CNN. So if you guys are not familiar, Van Jones is a news anchor on CNN. I think he also has a book out. He does several other things. And not on election night, when Joe Biden was called as president-elect, he cried on air, and he spoke about being a father and being able to tell his children that decency matters and doing the right thing matters. And it was so beautiful, you guys. Like, I was so emotional watching it. It was so beautiful. If you guys didn't see or have no idea what I'm talking about, you can search it here on YouTube. I'm sure it'll be probably the first video that pops up if you put in like Van Jones election. It was so beautiful and so moving to see him as a father, as a Black man, you know, express himself that way. So those two moments were just unbelievable for me as far as like election week goes. But anyways, I'm reeling in because we're going to talk about Inauguration Day. Don't worry, I'm getting to that. So moving on to Inauguration Day, let's talk about it, friends. You know, after what happened in the beginning of January with the Capitol being breached, there were, of course, so many concerns surrounding what Inauguration Day would be. Would it be pretty much a repeat of, you know, that horrid day at the beginning of January when the Capitol was breached? So there were so many concerns about that. Of course, I didn't know if it would be a great day or not, given those things, the possibility of those things happening. But I think, you know, I was just kind of waiting in the wings like everyone else. And I was so happy to see that it went so smoothly. And not only did it go smoothly, I think it was an amazing day in so many ways. There were so many great moments. So I'm just going to talk about those moments. So I'm going to try to do it chronologically, or at least how I remember it happening. So the first thing I remember seeing is the Obamas walking down towards, like down the steps. And y'all, listen, you can say anything you want about the Obamas, but like their class, like their level of class and their level of fly cannot be argued. Like, you can literally argue, I think, anything else about them, but Michelle Obama came to slay. I'm talking like formation slay. Like, I slay. Like, formation slay with that purple jumpsuit. I was like, sis, like, what are you even doing to these people? They were unprepared for you. They were unprepared. Anyways, let me calm down. I was so excited to see them. They were looking flawlessly beautiful as freaking usual. So I remember seeing that and being like, oh yes, queen. And then some other really great moments. One of the biggest ones, of course, was that we have our first Black woman vice president in U.S. history, which is, like, I tell myself all the time, I'm like, you have lived through this historical moment. Like, this is an historic, oh my God, I can't speak. This is an historical moment. And you are living through it. Like, let it sink in. Like, this has happened. This is happening right now, just to keep myself present and keep myself appreciative and keep myself humbled of such an incredible moment in history. So, of course, that was amazing. The fact that she was sworn in by Sonia Sotomayor was even more amazing. I was like, this is just wonderful. There were so many incredible women. Listen, there's so many incredible women at this inauguration and that played a part in this election and that have played a part in so many aspects of the things that are great in this world. So this is another one of the reasons I love this kit, because of that bottom box that says, when women show up, we win. But of course, that cannot be understated. That was such an amazing moment. And yeah, it was just incredible. Those were incredible. Some other moments, Lady Gaga sang the national anthem. I thought she did such a beautiful rendition of it. I think she was obviously very, very emotional, and she was just so joyful. Like, you could just see it in her face to be there and to be, you know, in this moment. We had some Latina representation up in there with Jenny from the block over there. I love that she had her little like segment in Spanish, her little speech in Spanish when she was singing, as a nod to the Latinos out there too. So I thought that was great. And then, of course, one of the probably unassuming stars that came out of the inauguration was Amanda Gorman, who was the beautiful young Black woman that read her poem, The Hills We Climb. I think it's called The Hills We Climb. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Of course, she was unbelievable. I love that they, talked about the fact that she had a speech impediment growing up, and like, look how she has risen to the occasion, and one of the biggest stages to recite a poem seems like so amazing. I can't even describe, like, oh my goodness. I was one of the billion and one people that found her on Instagram and subscribed, or followed her, I should say. And I'm so excited to see her journey and what she does. I know she has books out. But she was, of course, one of the highlights of the inauguration for sure. And then probably more of another unassuming moment in the inauguration was our good friend, Senator Bernie Sanders. You guys, like, Bernie is a whole mood and vibe. He's a whole mood and vibe. There were so many memes that came out from him. I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. And yes, I definitely have a Bernie sticker. It's in my planner. I'm giving you a close-up right now because this is just who I am. You should know this about me. But of course, Bernie, his whole vibe is the vibe for 2021. I think that was one of the memes that came out of this. And I'm like, I need to make this like my YouTube channel art, because like, he's a whole vibe for 2021. Like, can you imagine a life where you wake up and you just add the inauguration to like your list of things to do that day? Like, oh, I mean, I guess I got to go like to this thing, like whatever. Like, can you imagine a life like that? Because I cannot. But that is Bernie's life, and he's hilarious. And I thought it was amazing that I know he put the memes on sweatshirts, and I think sold them and had those funds donated to, I believe, Meals on Wheels, which is actually also kind of sort of how I got these stickers, if you guys are wondering. So Ilzu planned it over on Instagram, and I believe she has a YouTube as well. She posted that she made these stickers and she'd be selling them and then donating the profits to Meals on Wheels as well. So of course I hopped on that immediately. One, because yes, Meals on Wheels, and two, because like, yes, Bernie Sanders stickers everywhere, because he's a whole mood and vibe. So I'm gonna try to pull him in randomly in other spreads, and I'll be totally fine. Hopefully it just makes you guys chuckle, because it's so epic, to be honest. It's so freaking epic. So he was definitely probably one of the most unassuming moments of Inauguration Day. But I think those were like really the standout moments for me. Of course, this is probably the first inauguration where the standout isn't the president, the president-elect Joe Biden. Like, he was not the highlight of this inauguration for me. Although obviously I am thrilled that he's taking the presidency. But he wasn't one of the highlights for me in the inauguration. There were just too many women killing it around him. But I do appreciate that pretty much all of his, the common thread through all of his speeches are always about unity and kindness and decency. And I think that's just refreshing to hear. So obviously I definitely appreciate that from him. But the women were just kicking butt. And okay, you guys, side note, I have two things as we're nearing the end. One, some of you may or may not know, I am a college academic advisor, so I work with college students. There's some great things and not so great things about that. But I was meeting with one of them like 2 or 3 days ago, and we were having a Zoom meeting, and his video wasn't on, which is fine. And he has a picture instead, which is usually what happens when you don't turn on the video for your Zoom. And his picture, y'all, I can't make this up. His picture was Rafiki. Yes, Rafiki from Lion King. Y'all know the monumental epic scene where he's holding up Simba. Well, this was Rafiki holding up Bernie. He's holding up Bernie Sanders, y'all. That was his picture. And I had to mute myself several times while I laughed at his picture. And then I was finally like, when I unmuted myself, I'm like, just so you know, if at any point during this appointment you hear me just laughing, it's because your picture is actually hilarious and he just laughed. But it was so great. I couldn't help it. It was so awesome. So one of the perks of working with college students, great sense of humor usually. But anyways, you guys, I wanted to make sure I got that story in. And the other thing I wanted to mention is just that there was so much backlash about Dr. Jill Biden and whether she should keep the doctor. Also, side note, it's so nice to have an educator in high leadership. Like, oh my goodness. Us folks in education have been feeling a drought, okay? Because we all know who was heading that up before. I'm going to keep it PG, but you guys know that was not it. It was not it. So thank God that we have an educator in high places, because Lord knows education needs several things these days. But there was so much backlash about her keeping the doctor in her name. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like, sis went and got an advanced degree, sat through a dissertation, worked her ass off, and people are like over here telling her what her name, what? Like, I'm beside myself. I really can't, y'all. I can't deal with that. How about we, 1, decide what she wants to be called, and 2, respect the fact that she worked her ass off for that advanced degree. Thank you very much. Anyways, reverting back to Pleasant Anna. So that has pretty much been my spread, you guys. I'm okay with how it turned out. There were some parts of it that I didn't love, but for the most part, I'm happy with how the spread turned out, and it doesn't really matter. The significance of this spread is so much more than how aesthetically pleasing it is. So I'm just glad to have something to be able to look back on this in my planner. So I'm just happy about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It really was meant to just uplift you and hopefully make you laugh. Not meant to bring about full political debates in the comments. So please don't do it, because I ain't got the time. I ain't got the time. But keep it respectful down there, and let me know down below in the comments if you guys had similar feelings during the inauguration. And I'm happy to chat with you guys about that. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, as it really does help support the channel. Here is a Viv wiggle, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.